First of all, Deputy, thank you for raising this issue. And I think anybody who has listened to this story or read about it would come to the conclusion that this is a shameful series of events, particularly in terms of information flow. And the tragedy and challenges that Vicky Phelan and her family are facing now have been made all the more difficult because of the failings in terms of the passing on of information. And for that, as Taoiseach, I want to apologise to her and to her family. It might be helpful for me to put on the record what is going to change as a result and how that's come about. In 2014, at the time when Vicky Phelan was diagnosed, Cervical Check initiated clinical reviews for all notified cases of cervical cancer arising from screening. At that time, the information was used to inform improvements in the system and was not communicated to clinicians or to patients. This changed in late 2016, and subsequently current and historical outcomes of the audit process were made available to clinicians for communications to their patients on request. Ms Phelan rightly contends that she should have been made aware of the outcome of the audit process in 2014, which related to her audit, and we agree with that. It has now been decided that patients will be advised as part of the process in the future. That won't be optional, it will be automatic. There's also a process underway to identify any other women affected in the same way as Mrs Phelan, to ensure that they are informed as is necessary. Each year, approximately 250,000 women have a cervical cancer screening or smear test, as most of us would know it, through Cervical Check. Cervical Check has found over 50,000 precancerous changes in women, leading to appropriate early treatment, which of course is what this is all about. And I think it is important to say that while this case is tragic and should not have happened in the way that it did, we cannot allow it to undermine confidence in and faith in Cervical Check. As a whole, this is a screening programme. There is no such thing as a perfect screening programme. Mistakes can be made, and mistakes were made in this case. But it's true to say that cervical cancer screening aims to reduce the incidence of mortality from cervical cancer, and incidence of cervical cancer in Ireland have fallen by about 7% annually and continue to fall. Cervical Check is playing a big part in that. But that isn't any consolation to the Phelan family today. What I want to say is that it is regrettable that she needed to take court action to establish the truth. It is certainly regrettable that decisions weren't made before now to require patients to have automatic access to information that relates to them, particularly in the cases of women, of course, who are diagnosed with cervical cancer, where audits automatically take place if they have previously been through a screening programme to establish whether any mistakes were made. So hopefully that answers some of your questions.
Deputy,